Alright guys, Sixes here. Just wanting to go over my Argostar build that I got to Masters with. Very excited about it because this deck is heavily slept on. This is my first hand I loaded up here, and I'm going to just go through what I would do in the operation of this hand. It's a very simplistic thing, thankfully, so it definitely gives us a lot of room for adjustments, especially because we could use Ghost Reaper, we could not. Debate change out for something else, but hypothetically, if we were to operate it in this fashion. What I'd probably first lead with is a Dimensional Fissure. It turns off certain hand traps like Effect Failure, which is pretty common due to Blue-eyes being around. From here, we will lead with our Glorious Adra. Unfortunately, this hand is a big prime target for an Imperm here. But, assuming they don't have that, we will send it off and set a Lightning as well as an ETO. My apologies. In this one, we wouldn't want to set ETO. No, we would. We would want to set ETO. So we'd set ETO, we would activate Lightning, we would pitch the other Lightning in hand, summoning itself out, and then we will add from deck to our hand a Giant Slaying. We can activate our field spell at this point because we primarily just hold on to it as like a security of more so. We'll activate Giant Slaying, add an Adra, but because we control ETO and Lightning, we'll be able to actually just normal it out again. So we're going to do that. And when doing that, we will be able to activate its effect. And from here, we shall go ahead and make a Silhouette Rabbit. With Silhouette Rabbit, we will be able to do one of two things. Depending on what you're wanting to feel, there's two options you can go for here. I'd recommend either going for your Anguish pattern as a default if you don't anticipate having any board breakers like a Lightning Storm or something of that nature hitting you. If you're not as confident about that, go for the Apophis. Apophis will be able to provide us a Omni Negate for Lightning Storm of sorts, and we'd still have a pop, a bounce, the Lightning Storm, and we'd have a Floodgate through there. But we can go ahead and activate this to grab Lightning back, because this is a bounce as well as one Omni, and we would set this. In the event we don't end up needing our Ghost Reaper, like in this case we don't need it. But when we go into, one thing you gotta remember with the Argostars is they are delayed omnis. So they delayed on field omnis, I more specifically should say. Of course, so he's not gonna be able to do too much of this. So what we would do here is we would actually just discard it, because we're recognizing, let's say we recognize that he isn't gonna have what we'd want. So we're gonna summon it out, add from our hand, well, from our deck to our hand, our other Adra. So our third Adra will be in play. He gives us a light burn, which gives us our alternative win condition. So they're going to go for Advanced Ritual. Let's go ahead and we're going to permit that to go through. We're just going to banish the two. Make a Demise. And of course, thankfully, this one is not a quick effect. But what we can do in this instance is we could just set it back, activate our field spell, and negate Demise before he even got an opportunity to activate his effect. They're going to end the main phase here, which is where I could show you the next little thing we'll be able to do. Alright, so they're going to declare an attack. We're going to wait for Battle Step. Or damage calc, you do one of the two, and then negate Demise, drop him back down to 0 attack, not negate, but reduce him to 0. They can take 1500. Yugioh Dominus, it's okay. In this instance, what we're gonna actually end up doing is we will activate our Argostar again. We will grab our Adra. And from here, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna activate Giant Slaying. And we will bounce our Lightning as well as Demise. We'd keep ETO just in case they have an interaction here we can get an extra bounce off of. Then we can activate Adra again. Adra activates effect to make our trap monsters unable to be responded to. We can then Glorious Adra away, set the Lightning back active, and then set to the Swift. And from here we actually have lethal, thankfully. So we have a few ways we can go about it. I'm going to assume we're going to keep the Lightning and we're going to hold Dominus Purge to be our final interaction should we need it. Sure, we can negate that should we like. We get an extra burn there. And then we can activate Swift. Swift will summon up. So we have a couple choices here actually. What we're going to end up doing is this. So we're going to push into the battle phase with this. We're going to swing with Swift. We can swing a Swamp Deity. This with Rabbit. We're just shy of it, so what we can actually do is we can now use Lightning because we tested the water to make sure we won't have anything to deal with. And we had a bounce as well to help give us a little extra protection. Add whatever you'd like, and that's going to burn for 500, and that's a swing per game. Thankfully, we have a ton of grind game within Argostar, which is something that's very handy for being able to chip away and pick at the bones, per se. But let's go ahead, and we're going to hop into a couple replays and then showcase the deck list. Alright, so we're going to be going over this replay against Branded going second. He, of course, leads with an Allure of Darkness, which we follow in with our Delta, which is one I eventually took out of the deck, but if you don't want to run the Lightning Sword package, you can run a Delta Gamma package. That works perfectly fine. So they go for Fallen of Albez. In response to the Fallen of Albez, I'm going to activate Dimensional Shifter. That way we can play under Shifter. Our opponent can't quite as easily, so we're going to do that to kind of force them in a different direction than what they would like to be able to do. Thankfully, he already had an answer for that with what he had in hand, which is a pretty strong thing. It goes for Dragostapelia. With Dragostapelia, he's able to add Alibur to his hand, so that way he's able to get his Branded Fusion as a follow-up. He did negate Delta, but Delta's already going to go away at that point, so it doesn't entirely matter. With Teratop, we're going to summon out Teratop. We have Tekatomborg already, so we're going to use those two to make Invoker. Invoker, we're activating its effect. I'm expecting it to get negated. He doesn't negate it, so get our Glorious Adra out. Glorious Adra, we send it off and set Lightning as well as ETO. Lightning summoning out, grabbing our field spell. I thought how I'd want to go about this. I actually want to get rid of this early, so I'm going to use the field spell to negate Dragostapelia, and then we're going to use it to grab Lightning back. We are then going to make a Typhon out of our Invoker, because we didn't necessarily need to use it beyond that point since we had already gotten it to Adra. We just send back to Dragostapelia, leave him on a simplified board state. We set just the Anguish statue, so we still had a discard for the Lightning, and we have, just for people to understand what's going on here, our opponent can't activate card effects or us with monsters that have 3,000 or more attack. Mirror Jade is a good example of that, and I believe Sanctifier as well for Branded. Next, we have ETO, which on top of burning for 500 on summon and being a delayed Omni-Negate, on-field Omni-Negate, also allows us to bounce one card from the field to the hand as we have Adra in the banish zone. On top of that, we have Lightning, which is a delayed Omni, as well as a Searcher for another Adra to give us some battle protection. And all through that, we also have Anguish Pattern, which allows us to pop a card every time one of our trap monsters is summoned. He's activating Alibur. I activate Anguish Pattern. He max sees me in response. So we're playing under max C now, so I'm going to lead with a Lightning, discarding the other Lightning. Just that way he only gets one draw off of it as opposed to two. He's likely to get another draw because of ETO. But we can play around that, make some decisions there. Not too big of a deal. So he adds his Branded Fusion, of course, as well as plussing one. He activates his Branded Fusion. We lead with Lightning. He activates Forbidden Droplet, which if he targets Lightning, it does stop me from being able to set up the delayed Omni-Negate. But because a lot of people don't think of Argostar as a threat, they only hit the Typhon, which is great for us. Because he hit the Typhon, now when he makes his Albion, he goes to activate Albion's effect to get an additional Fusion Summon. We can target and negate the Albion because he did not stop Lightning from resolving. He didn't negate Lightning, so because of that, we get a nice little benefit. I am curious about the rulings, if it would still trigger or not. I don't believe it will. But he goes for a Branded Lost. I pitch the Adra to make him crash his Alibur. He then swings in with his Lubellion, destroying Typhon. Today, okay, because we still have a bounce, we still have a Lightning for our draw. We use ETO now that he's trying to get a resolution here, and we bounce the Branded Lost so he can't get any effect off of that. He gets another 2 draws off that. Well, not 2 draws, 1 add and 1 draw. We pop the Lubellion. He goes for Branded in red, and he is targeting off the Alibur. We are going to respond with ETO under the pretense that he is summoning it right now. He is summoning right now. He goes for a Chaos Star Scourge Dragon. We don't get a pop. Star Scourge targets 2. We use the field spell to respond because it's a delay Omni-Negate and negate the Star Scourge from being able to, well, Star Source from being able to resolve. So we get to keep our field. We did get a Swift Campaign. We activate the Argostar home station. add Glorious Adra, activate lightning, pitching off the Adra, adding Giant Slaying to hand. We burn them for 500. We use it to pop the Star Scourge with Star Source. Messed it up again right after I corrected myself. We're summoning out our Adra here. It's an extra body. We're already pushing lethal. Just getting some threat set up. And from here, Adra is activating. We go battle phase and we swing per game with Adra. Incredible board control. We did have the advantage of getting that shifter at the beginning because we can play under shifter like Ritual Beast. But it's a fantastic deck. I love it. Let's go ahead and move over to the deck profile, and then I'll have a little compilation of replays there for you guys. Alright, so with our Argostar deck list, we're just going to start from the top down, and I'll indicate which cards, just with the drawing on them, can be replaced if you aren't too sold on them, or if you prefer to have something else, and I totally think you could get away with it. We have 3 Terror Tops, just as an amazing starter. We have 1 Tekatomborg. We run 2 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, which these are the first 2 I can indicate that you could replace if you ever wanted to. We have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Glorious Adra, 1 Dimension Shifter, which you could replace, but I think it's just worth it with how meta is right now. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, as well as 2 Lightning Storms. Most of these are here just because of Blue-eyes, as well as other trap-based decks to help clear out the back rows and get us our board state back and going. You'll see some of that in the replays, but if you didn't want those, you could replace those. That's perfectly fine. We also run 1 Reinforcements of the Army, 2 of the Argostar's Home Stadium because they can help recycle each other. 3 Dimension Fissures, just because, why not? Dimensional Fissures is a great card. Helps put pressure on a lot of boards, especially Fiendsmith. We have 1 That's 10. I might adjust to a higher rate of these because it is phenomenal for getting additional pressure built up as you're disrupting your opponent to get the right answer when you're at a certain point in the fight, including That's Finished. We have 3 Giant Slaying. More or less is our next Rhoda, as well as a potential way to normal summon Adra. Gives us a lot of things we can work through. We have 3 Infinite Impermanence, 3 Dominus Purge. Just remember, if you use Dominus Purge, to use it after or with like your Shifter or Ash Blossoms chained to it, or Ghost Reapers, because you cannot resolve them after. Same goes with your finished if you did not set them on the field first. If they were set, you're fine. We have 2 Anguish Pattern. It's just our favorite one. If we could hard draw it, we want to. Just because it's our boat. It's our goat. You know, I said boat. I don't know why. It's our goat. It's one of our best cards. We would use it a lot more if we didn't occasionally need Apophis here for being able to Omni negate those Lightning Storms and Harpy's Feather Dusters. Next thing we have is You're Finished. You're Finished is the complete board wipe after 10 interactions happen within a turn. But you gotta remember, every single one of the Argostar trap monsters is 2 interactions. So if you just have 2 of them, you have 4 of your interaction requirements on field. Technically up to 6 because it triggers your field spell twice. So you have up to 6 interactions off of 2 of your trap monsters. Absolutely crazy. Fantastic card to get a nice little board wipe. It creates an indefinite amount of pressure. Insanely good against Mathmech to just clear the board. A lot of people don't know what it fully does, and because of that, it has a great element of surprise. We're running 2 of the Lightning, mainly because Lightning is our main searcher, as well as build extend off of it. But I'm only running 2 because I don't want to hard brick on it right now with this build. There are other builds you could look at that could run more, but personally I'm happy with the 2 right here. We are running 1 of the Swift Campaign and 1 of the Slayer ETO. ETO is our strongest of the Argo Slayer trap monsters. Swift Campaign gives us our battle protection. ETO gives us our bounce as well as card effect destruction. You can actually summon up your Argostar monsters before a Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster, and ETO will protect them from that destruction. Just keep that in mind. It's a fantastic way to actually go about handling that. It's also true as a trap. It helps get protection for these. It's pretty handy for that to be able to keep that pressure going to some extent. For our extra deck, more or less, I can be honest, because of Ghost Reaper, a lot of the cards here are just because of the meta. They're just there to create additional pressure, to be able to remove extra cards from our opponent's extra deck, as it's not super important to us. But if we were to care about what you want to remove or what you'd want to add should you want to not use Ghost Reaper, everything marked in pink or roughly scribbled with pink is stuff you could completely cut out and it would be completely fine. But yeah, this is my deck list. I'm very happy with it. I'm definitely going to continue to play with this deck. I love this deck. I think it's super fun. I hope you guys enjoy this deck list. And if anything else comes to mind, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments, or any ideas or discussion points, feel free. Just know that I greatly appreciate having you all here. Enjoy the rest of the replays. And once you're at, finish them up. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comments below. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Check out the streams. We have the Salad Cup tournament coming soon. You can see that announcement at the end of the video as well. Thank you.